All right, hello. I am here. It is me, Jay Creddy, and ready for short. And hello, has been a little while, but I'm here, still streaming as always. Even though it's been a little while, I still play Guilty Gear, obviously. Even when I haven't been streaming, actually, I've been playing actually a bit of Guilty Gear. I low key got like, yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with the game. As even like, it's just my fault for not streaming it. It's literally just the fault of me being like I'm so into the games and I'm like, oh, I could have streamed those sets that I was just playing, and it was so stupid. But I have definitely been playing the game, and today we're here to talk about the patches I'm super excited about. But yeah, I'm sorry, I literally just I'm like a really forgetful person. I'm not trying to be funny. Sometimes I just forget, and I was like, every time I finish my sets, I would be like, why didn't I stream that? But I've been playing a lot of biking, a lot of biking. Lots and lots of biking. I'm still a Jackal main though. It's 100% Stu a Jackal main, but I think biking's the hard secondary. I think she's 100% the hard secondary. But today we got patch notes, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look at some patch notes today. We want to talk about it for a bit. Chill with it. Let's put a Windows capture. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Right there. Boom. Patch notes. So let's get started. I don't want to take too much time because it's a good amount. So let's turn some music on. Turn some music on. Right. Turn some music on. Okay. Let's turn it up a little bit. I think right here is fine. Right here is fine. Right here is fine. Right here is fine. I didn't turn it down do the settings or anything, right? Hopefully I didn't do that. Might be pretty bad if I did that. But yeah. Let's get started so we don't take too much time either. I keep saying that. So yeah, we got the band changes. I have seen them already. Yeah, I wanted to do it live stream, but just stuff didn't line up. So that's how stuff goes. But yeah, I have seen these already. But I've gone in, but I haven't gone super in. So they're definitely gonna be talking about more, so I can share more of my thoughts and stuff like that. But shout out to Jacoby, David, Jawan, and Stanley, and Akil and them, because we was there seeing it together. So shout out to them. It was a lot of fun, viewing notes and stuff. A lot of fun. So shout out to them. But I'm talking about this is the system stages stuff. System stages are super important for every single patch because it's literally the base of the game and how the game is structured and how the game is played. Every character has to abide by the rules of the system mechanics in one way or another. Some characters just don't have it. Some characters have to take advantage of it. Some characters are really strictly tied to it. The system mechanics are extremely important because at the end of the day, every character has to abide by them. So game system changes are super important every patch. So I've seen a couple. The Roman cancel change right here when it says cancel special moves from a Roman cancel, no trigger slowdown effect. Limited games cards is kind of strange, but we're going to see on Friday what that means. But it's cool. As you saw in the little trailer, I didn't even go over the little snippets they gave us on our Arc System Live thing. But basically they show well, you see here, standing P and crouching K now trigger some moves such as standing P and crouching K trigger slowdown effects. So your jab moves, your P moves and your K moves, they have different counter hit triggers, so they way more. So your P's and your K normals, they're a bit more important. They made it a bit more important by giving a special counter hit where you can link off of those counter hits, which is really cool. You can link off of them, so it's really cool. So yeah, so right here triggers a slowdown on effect on counter hit, making combos not normally possible available. New combo routes from your standard from your P's and your K normals, really cool. On counter hit. If it's not on counter hit, that may be something oversized character may have, we don't know, but on counter hit, right? They changed faultless defense also. They said, they knew about the glitch, the problem with when you would try to do faultless attack, you would get a button and you just get counter hit or something like that. It happens to me so many times, but they said they tried to fix it. They were going over to fix it, but basically the risk for trying to handle it, it would have lost control responsiveness. So what they did was they add a faultless defense button, so you have a faultless defense macro now. So if you want to use the macro, you should. Depending on what comes from it, because OS and stuff can come from the macro, crazy stuff could come from the possibility of a macro. So that's just gonna literally see when the day the day of the patch comes, and everything that comes after. That's literally all that's gonna be. But yeah. So you get a new faultless defense macro right there, like they told you. What I'm super excited about is this special moves canceling into overdrives before coming out. that is something I am super excited for. And let me show you a little reason. Well, here's an example, right? So they say basically moves, if you play like KOF, you're probably used to this and stuff, like other fighting games too. I think BB does it too. You probably used to this, but like basically you can chain together a special move and an overdrive move before like yeah, you can just chain it together. So you, since false overdrive is double quarter circle P, double quarter circle forward P, you can input his special move, not his overdrive, the special move quarter circle forward P, and then if you do quarter circle forward P, you'll get the special move and the overdrive. And that's something super cool. It's low-key something I wanted, but I kept to myself. I didn't say anything because I was like, it's not important, you know, it'll just fly by. But I'm booting the game up in the back. I said booting it up, the game's already booted. But right now, I'm in the background, and I'm gonna show you why I'm super excited for that and why that is super cool that is now a possibility. Yep. Okay, let's just do this. Right, let's do this. Let's put it on soul, right? Let's make sure that y'all can see the game too through the OBS. Game capture. It should just show Strive, right? Because that's what the game like a really boom, right? Let me show you why I'm super excited for this. So, since what that means is you can cancel special moves into overdrive moves, especially if it has like the same input. So Jacko's special, right? Chair on servant, SO heavy slash, depending on which one you want to do. Since it's double quarter circle forward P, and to pull out your servant is quarter circle forward P, double quarter circle forward S or H, and you pull out your servant is double quarter circle forward P. What that means is you can chain 2 quarter circle forwards, and so by the time, so your first one will be the servant come out, and then the second one you do right after you change it to regular will be the super. So what I always want to do is, because I like using the super a lot. If you see me play, you see I use the super a lot, right? I used to use the armor super. So what that means is I wanted to always do this. If you see my inputs, is quarter circle forward P, then quarter circle forward S right after. Like, I always wanted to do this with Jacko. Like, because it'd be cool, because the downtime between putting the server out and doing a super, right? The downtime will be much less. Like, it may not seem like it, but it would be much less if we actually had that downtime. So the fact that they're introducing this mechanic where you could do this, you see right there, the super would have came out. If it was like the patch, more likely the super would have came out, right? Not entirely sure, right? Can't be 100% sure, but based on what they said, possibility, the super would have already came out by the time my server already went down. So by the time my server hits, super would have been out. So that's why I'm really excited about this, because I thought like this is something that's really cool for Jacko, because sometimes like what I have to do is, because like I'm not sure how my opponents approach, or like I'm used to like how my opponent approaching me, and I'm like, okay, so I I can't take too much time because he could get in. So I'll probably do something like this, right? So I haven't played Jacko in a while, right? I'll do like this, right? I do like this, something like this, right? Or like I press whatever normal I think is the best one right there, or like I just try to take my chances, play some defense, and then do this like this, right? Take my chances. But if I can just do this, that changes a lot, right? That changes like a lot. If I could just do that, that changes a lot. If I could just do this, sick. Like, that would just be sick, right? That'd just be sick. So like that's why I'm like super excited for that, right? Some more changes, some more stuff. Let's go back to the screen window. Boom. Right? But they said where the input's the same as a special move, so it shows like 2 P normals. So I don't know if Jacko could do it, because since it's P and S instead of P and P, it could be it's supposed to be that it won't work, but I'm hoping that it does work. So hopefully it does work. That's I'm speaking on. If it does work, that'd be super cool. But we know that false S is, so LOL. Another thing that I'm super excited about is that priority inputs for normal moves. So basically, when I'll be playing biking, I would do stuff like close slash into 6S, right? Close slash into 6H, right? Because that's like a string, right? If you get on one counter, you get some big damage. But basically, due to like the way the inputs were like timed in the game system, it would like be weird, and like it would give me like just 5H or like something I just didn't want, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So what they're saying in priority here is, when you're trying to chain into crouching normals and or command normals from like standard normals and stuff like that, it is a better overall rate of working. So like it will work more. So me trying to do 5 close slash into 6 heavy slash would like work more. That's what they're trying to say here. So like I'm super excited for this, as you can see right here. Yeah, and then we got jump P changes, so they're trying to make like a character jump normals combo better to like get more combo stuff like that, which I'm super excited about. Another example for Jacko, if I can show real quick, I think Jacko has some pretty cool jump normals and stuff like that, so she has some cool stuff she could probably utilize with that, so I'm pretty excited for that too. Trying to see like what Jacko can really do with that stuff. It'd be really sick to see what Jacko could do. And so yeah, better overall jump buttons for like better combo conversions and stuff like that. Dash cancels on 5Ks and 5Ks and close slashes for characters who can dash. I'm pretty sure the only characters who are not able to do this off of 5Ks and standing close slashes are Potemkin and Nago. I'm pretty sure those are the only characters who aren't able to do it. So yeah, dash cancels off for 5Ks and close slashes for the cast, except for Nago and Potemkin. And overall damage adjustments, they didn't directly nerf the damage in the game, but they nerfed the damage on certain moves. So yeah, and then they changed. It's very subtle, but they changed some wrist stuff, which is kind of like it's in there. So it's definitely going to see how that's going to affect the game, because they definitely did change like some wrist stuff. Shout out to Jacoby for low-key telling me that and showing me that. Like they low-key was changing like some wrist stuff. They just didn't say directly. So yeah, you see the stuff here. Yeah, input priority, some jumping normals, special moves, faultless defense, wall stick. Yeah, a couple characters got like a different wall stick stuff. So like wall break also, right? So I think a common theme was that some moves have less priority on wall break, which means some characters will not break the wall based off certain moves, how close they are. So like they would just, since they won't break the wall as fast, they can get better corner situation and better corner Oki, stuff like that, right? Like a little tidbit is Anji. Later we're gonna see that Anji gets like they buff this butterfly in the corner, and it coincides with one of his other buffs. So like they're trying to give characters like trying to give you more leeway to choose if you want to break the wall or not break the wall, and get better corner Oki based off that. They're trying to give you more leeway on that. So yeah, and this is the these are the moves that that trigger the slowdowns. The new P and K slowdowns I was just talking about. Standing P, standing K, crouching P, crouching K, jumping P, jumping K. What I was just talking about right there. And some hurt boxes, stuff like that, been adjusted. Adjust some sizes, just the size of some hurt boxes while taking damage. Mid damage hurt boxes were more difficult than others to hit during combos, have been expanded, right? So that, I guess that makes combos work more since hurt boxes are extended. It's easy to hit people more, so combos should just work more. Combos should just straight up work more. Okay, now we go into the characters. So we're going to go down the list, fair and square, go down the list. First we got So Bad Guy. So Bad Guy. So adjustment to his crouching K and sweep, improves Soul's low attacks, and his ability to pressure their opponent. Volcanic Right has improved his offensive tool with adjustments to his hitboxes more, as there was a window with no active hitbox directly as Soul ascends. Meaning it will not always function as an invincible move. On the other hand, his standing K and far slash were too strong compared to other characters. Their performance had been decreased while leaving their greatest strengths. The attack, startup, and recovery on block as is. Okay. So standing K, decreased attack level, which is pretty big. Increased base scaling, which means the damages. How it scales is I'm pretty sure that means it does less damage. Now it depletes more risk level. Right, does something mean like the sort of risk changes you want to see? I don't know exactly what that means for sure, but it's definitely like risk changes, like because some characters deplete, some characters increase. It's definitely risk changes across the board, so that definitely coincides with damage. Increased combo blowback scaling on combos with 5K as a starter, so stuff like that, right? Combo blowback scaling. His crouching K decreased the knockback, that's a buff, so that means he gets 2K 2D more consistently. Decreases the damage on his first slash. Decrease the damage on his 6S. Increase the recovery on his heavy slash, on his 6 heavy slash, and expand the hitbox upwards, and decrease the knockback. But increased recovery means what's really good about increased recovery is this, right? So this will be more punishable, basically, right? So right, button settings, play, right, so this will be more punishable since it has longer recovery, right, if you're looking for it, it's easy, but like just more punishable, so that just makes it easier to do stuff like that. That just makes it easier. That straight up makes it easier. So that's the nerf to his success right there. Soul got some pretty significant changes to his kit overall, things like that. His sweep got way better. Expanded the frontal hitbox and a hitbox, which is a buff and a nerf. It makes it easier to punish, but it gives a bigger hitbox. Increase the horizontal blowback distance, so like it blows back further. So I'm guessing he gets corner room more easier depending on like what moves combos out of it if he gets the hit. But like that really wasn't a problem for Soul anyway, right? Jump P, jump K, normal standard across the character, stuff like that. His jump D reduce frontal hitbox, which is a buff, which means it's a little bit harder to hit, and causes less wall break value gain, which is something I really paid attention to when they issued this change, because what that means is when it says cause less wall break value gain, means the wall, using that move on the wall, it's not going to break the wall as fast. So basically what that means is jump D loops and any other like D loops that comes out of the patch is going to be more consistent, because it's not going to break the wall as much. So you're going to get just more damage straight up off the fact that you're not breaking the wall as fast with this move, which I think is a really subtle buff, which I think is really nice for him. His ground throw decrease recovery upon successful throw. So what that means is if he throws you, he can act out of the throw faster, which is pretty crazy. Gun feint decrease recovery, so he gets out of gun feint faster. Volcanic Viper, Souls in a standing position on landing rather than crouching. Added a hitbox directly after the ascent begins. The hitbox now remains throughout. I guess that's a buff to make sure it hits for sure, make sure it actually functions as an invincibility tool. Expanded hitbox during ascent, reduce the hurt box, right? So that's a buff. That's a buff right there. Can no longer be Roman cancel while the opponent's gold psych burst is active, so that's a buff. That's a nerf to him, but buff to gold psych burst. So if you gold burst the DP, because basically you can only gold burst in anticipation. If you try to get hit, you just burst it regularly. So if you gold burst it, you can't be Roman cancel, so he can't Roman cancel punish you for it. That's like a DP change across like all characters, by the way. This is not your Soul, just a little spoiler alert. That's not your Soul. All DPs got like hit, so the DP should be way more punishable in this version of the game, which is super good change. When block mid there, the opponent now lands more quickly than before. That's what I was talking about. So blocking the DPs in the air, like especially with like Leo's DP, if you blocked it, like okay, he pushed you back in the air, so it's like okay, now we're back at neutral, you know. So but like now they say notice the opponent lands quicker. This is of course like all DPs, even Kai's and Leo's and Souls, right? It should make it more easy to punish. So like DP characters need to be like, bro, I can't like be DPing because you know I'll get hit, you know, I'll get punished. So that's a really good thing. And Volcanic Viper as versus increase the startup, it's a nerf. Area Bandit Breaker decrease the attack startup. So I'm not sure if there's a buff on nerf. We're going to see what happens when it comes out. Night Rate Vortex Charge now launched upon a higher with decreased horizontal blowback distance. I think it's a good buff. What that means is he's just going to get better combos, especially with the jump D change, especially with the less wall break value in it launching higher, and with 5k being the button that it is. He's just going to get, like, if he's near the corner or anywhere, if he's in the corner or near the corner, he's just going to get loops and he's going to get damage because the wall doesn't break as fast and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Fafnir reduced the lower hitbox, which is a nerf. And so reducing the lower hitbox means it moves can go under it, and Tyrant Rave increases attack startup and increases recovery, so that move got nerfed. I don't think it's gonna be too bad. I think it's still gonna function as a reversal super. It's gonna be a bit more committal, and increased recovery means it's gonna be easier to punish. About that Fafnir change, right? I want to talk about that Fafnir change for a second. Right. So they said, wait, Jacko Joe. Right. So with Fafnir, they said they increased the lower hitbox, right? So with Jacko has a super good low profile move, like this move right here, right? I don't know if I should pull Biking out, because I don't know if Biking can be a good example. But basically what that means is moves, you can like try to go under this move more, which like I would try to do with Jacko anyway. Right? I try to do that with her anyway. Right? So that should be like easier to do. But Jacko's like good at it already, so I don't know if Jacko's a good example because of 2D. I can try Biking. I think Biking has good options against that already though. So I don't know if like Biking's going to be like the optimal pick to show this, but like basically with Fafnir being having a lower hitbox reduced, moves with like low profile properties or like trying to attack with a low attack should work more consistently. Stuff like that, right? So like if this happens and like you try to like I'm pretty sure Viking. Yeah, I thought like Viking could do this because like this move is like sort of low profile, her 2S. So like, if it clashes like that, that means like in situations like that, if Viking doesn't do it like preemptive, if Viking like tries to hit on reaction, like, oh she's doing Fafnir, like Fafnir, it may like hit more. I think that's what that means, right? So she's like, he's doing Fafnir, right? It should like be able to hit more with the lower hitbox reduced, stuff like that. So that's what I'm thinking. Like it might happen because of that change. So I think that's pretty cool. Go back. All right. Kai. I don't like this character at all. Not a big fan of Kai Kisuke, and they gave him a good amount of buffs. Kai got really buffed this patch. I don't think Kai was ever a bad character. He definitely could have used some help. But he wasn't bad, and Kai looks, for my opinion, I'm just not a fan. I just don't like the character, so I'm biased, but it's so annoying. Very annoying. But Kai got some stuff. If you're a Kai fan, rejoice, right? Diary Eclat. I just don't like this character. I don't like this character. Yada yada. Coming from far range, it's possible to continue offensive Dragon install. They keep buffing it. They buff Dragon install every patch. They want this move to be real, like for real. So yeah, but the Dragon install buffs are actually real. They're like real buffs. The other buffs were real, but like this is kind of nutty. Crouching K decrease knockback buff. That means his 2K 2D got buffed, right? His 6K can be cancelled in the special moves. That's the plus on blocks command on me he got. His far slash, his close slash, reduce recovery. I think that's like a bunch of characters got that across the board. His far slash, reduce the front of hurt box, which is a buff. That means it's harder to hit and it's harder to punish. His caution slash, reduce the front of hurt box, which is a buff, which means it's harder to hit and it's harder to punish now. Jump P, jump K, buffs across the board. Reduce the front of hurt box off his jump H, which is good, right? So it's hard to hit now. His jump H launches upon his higher with decreased horizontal blowback distance, which I'm thinking is going to be easy for him to get combos if he gets hits. His jump D got crazy buffed. He can now jump cancel when air dash cancel it. He can now cancel into special moves. So air special cancel moves, or I think if he hits the ground fast enough, he can cancel into it. It launches on a grounded hit. So with it launch, I'm pretty sure he can land and do like 5K or something, or land if a really good situation, he could probably just land and do close slash and get some crazy stuff off that. It launched upon a higher with decreased horizontal blowback distance, so it's definitely gonna be easy to combo. So MP can easy to combo, MP can cancel into from a finish blow during a home and jump. Don't know what that means exactly, but yeah. Reduce recovery upon successful throw, same thing as soul. That means he can act faster out of throws. And now launches the opponent lower with decreased horizontal blowback distance, right? Crazy, because I'm pretty sure Kai's throw in this game leaves you. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, right? I don't want to play this bootleg ass character. I don't want to like test him out to see it. He's just so bogus. I don't like this character, bro. I don't like recording on him. So corny. Such a cornball character, bro. Kai is such a cornball character. Yeah, I didn't think so. I was like, yeah, no. Something he does leaves you standing. I'm pretty sure it's 5H. It's 5H. I'm thinking of 5H. Okay. I'm thinking of 5H. Okay. Shy State, it is Vakate damage, was a slight nerf. Pretty cool to see. Makes it a bit easier to fight him now. Use your restrictions. I don't know exactly what that means, but if it is what I think it means, that's very scary. Aerial stun edge, reduce recovery, so now his air fireballs are faster. No, they're not faster. He recovers quicker out of his air fireballs. Charge stun edge, don't know what that means, but like I said, if it is what I think it means, that's very scary. Future arc, decrease the level of initial half. Increase attack level of initial half for the active frames. I think that means it's half. So like maybe like it changes like how hard it hits depending on what time the move is hit. I don't know exactly, but that could be it. And reduce recovery, so that means he recovers faster now. Vapor thrust extended the lower hitbox, which is a buff to that. It makes it move bigger. Can no longer be roaming, cancel out Echo Cypress, like the soul chains, numerous nerf to DPs. Same thing. When you block it in midair, recover more quickly. Diary Eclat, reduce recovery, that's a buff, he recovers faster. Ride the Lightning is a nerf, it increases startup of his attack. And Dragon Install, increase the movement speed forward movement, back movement, and dash. He just moves faster when he's in there. Decrease horizontal blowback distance of when it hits, and decrease recovery of when he pops it. So yeah, Kai some cool stuff. He got a couple of buffs. He's definitely stronger, way stronger. He his only real nerf was low-key like ride the lightning. Other than that, I think he's a cornball. I don't like this character, but you know, there you go. It's Kai stuff. Move on. May got some changes. I saw May changes. I don't know exactly what they were trying to do, even after reading this. Like, button is held. Although they are straightforward lunge attacks, now in addition to their prior uses, May has more options to change the distance, the movement distance, or activate depending on how long the button is held. I think she has like the most interesting changes out of this patch, because like I feel as though how they structured May from the beginning of the game versus how they're trying to change May now is like very, very, very different from like just like how the game just very, very different in general, like how they're changing her. I think her changes are very interesting, right? So her standard P reduced the text startup, which is a buff, you know, comes off faster. Adjust the animation of opponent character on hit. I think that's just like a visual change. I don't think that's going to be like super important. Standard K reduced the text startup. When I saw that, I was like, oh no, plus R main. I was a plus R main, so like I obviously don't mind this, but if they gave her setup Dolphin, I'll probably just hard switch. But they're not giving this girl setup Dolphin in this game, so it's whatever. But yeah. Crouching K decreased the knockback, which is good. That means 2K 2D hits more consistently, stuff like that. Or 2K into like other stuff just hits more consistently because of decreased knockback, which is good. 3K, which is her slide, the opponent can now recover after landing. So what that means is a change from hard knockdown to soft knockdown, which is a nerf. But sometimes when a character gets a soft knockdown, especially characters like May with like her ridiculously good close slash, the dash cancel on 5K stuff, when you have characters like who can like issue things like that's kind of scary. So like even though like it sounds bad on paper, like oh she doesn't get hard knockdown no more, like well, cause like who wouldn't want a hard knockdown, right? Who wouldn't want one? I think it's a nerf, but I think it may not be as bad as it seems on paper, honestly. Stand heavy slash damage decrease. I love that. That's cool. Frontal hurt box, expanded frontal hurt box during recovery, which means it's easier to punish now, so that's a nerf. Crouching heavy slash now launches opponent lower. That could be a buff or nerf. We just have to see when it comes out. 6 heavy slash decrease the damage, which is good. Okay. Sweep expanded the frontal hitbox and hurt box, so that's a buff and a nerf. Easier to hit but bigger range. Hold on, I think I'm getting a phone call. One second.
I need that mask. I'm a sharpshooter at Bush Masquerade, heart in both face and mind, all free for you to draw. I'm a sharpshooter, chained down to my core. Please don't take off my mask, my place to hide.
Sorry you had to deal with Dizzy Gaming for a second right there. Yeah, I got a phone call, but I'm okay now. I'm all good now. Let me fix my cam back, make sure my cam's adjusted. Okay, perfect. Okay, everything's good. All right, cool. All right, back to patch notes, back to reading, right? Everything we love to do. So yeah, sweep. It's easier to hit people, but it's easier to get punished now. Jumping P, jumping K, so universal change across the board. Jump heavy slash. I'm okay a fan of this nerf. It's easy to recover because like Maze would just. They would just be tweaking with this button. They just be tweaking, da. Me being a Jackal main, I kind of liked when they did this because I'm like, oh, now my 2S has meaning. So I kind of like when they did this. But, you know, I was like, though, but when I wasn't playing Jackal, I was like, bro, they're tweaking. Like, so, like, I'm a fan of this nerf. Dolphin horizontal, so Dolphin just goes straight across. Decrease the damage on it. Active frames decrease when the button is held, which I think is super interesting. That's why I said the way they have made from the beginning of the game versus the way they have made now is like she's like very, very different. Like she's such a different character. Like how they've been changing her. Like she always has like the most, looks like the least, but always has like the most changes. I think like by the end of the game's lifespan, she's like going to be a complete like different character from how they propagated her from the beginning of the game. I think it's gonna be crazy, but that's just a theory. Active frames decrease when a button is held down, so that gives you more control over dolphins, and now maintains momentum after landing on whiff. That sounds extremely scary. I can't even lie to you. That change sounds so scary. I cannot lie to you. Vertical dolphin movement speed now increases when the button is held down, which is pretty cool. Same thing. Which is pretty cool. That means her damage, the dolphin will come out faster now. So I think it should work better as an anti-air now, since it comes out faster. So now like you can like since you can charge vertical, horizontal, and you can charge vertical by just holding down back, by literally just paying attention to your opponent's movement with main, you can just make the right read. So I think that's a pretty cool buff for her. No longer hits the opponent when more than a set distance. We're just gonna have to see when the patch releases what the distance is. That's just we're gonna have to see June TIF type beat, right? Reduce recovery on hit, which I think is a buff because she can act faster. So I'm pretty sure that's a buff, which is pretty cool. And Mr. Dolphin vertical heavy slash version, when the descending part of the attack hits, the opponent now bounces higher with decreased horizontal blowback distance. So I also think that's a buff, which means that depending on how close they are to the ground, she can get like a close slash confirm or a 5k confirm and stuff like that. So I think that increases her combo ability in like new situations like that, because she does get hits off a vertical dolphin. I think it's a buff. It could be a nerf, but I think it's a buff. And her super right there, when blocked midair, the opponent lands more quickly. The universal like super nerf, so like it's easier to punish stuff like that, and it increases recovery just to double down on it, easier to punish. So pretty cool stuff right there. Axel, I really don't know much about Axel, so I'm not the type to talk about it. I'm just gonna say what happened because I don't know this character, so I can't like really say what's happening with them. So I'll just go through and just say what happened. His crouch MP got a standing frontal hitbox, which is good. 6p launches on grounded hit, which is good. Now launches higher, which is good. Decreased knockback. Added wall bounce effect on that, so he gets better combos. Reduce the recovery on that, which is good. Reduce the recovery on this, which is good. Reduced the hitbox and expanded the hitbox, which is just a straight up buff. Straight up. 6 heavy slash. Increase the knockback. Don't know if that's good or bad. Don't play the character. Jump P and K. Launches. That's universal PK changes. Jump D, reduce the frontal hurt box, which is a buff because it's harder to hit now. I'm pretty sure Winter Mantis is his command grab when he can do it while opponents are taking damage. It doesn't hit opponents at a set distance. We're gonna have to see when it drops what that distance is. Aerial Snail, don't know what that is, but reduce attack startup, so I think that's a good thing. And it bounces opponent higher, so I also think it's a good thing. Maybe increase combo ability, not sure. Rain Roy looks like they got a bunch of stuff changed with it. Reduce base damage scaling, now depletes more risk level. That's what I mean, like the minor risk things, what I was talking about earlier. Increased combo, blowback scaling, reduce combo blowback scaling on combo to ring with a starter. Not exactly sure what that means for him. Now causes more wall break value gain, so that means it break the wall easier, which could be a good or bad thing depending on how you play the character or like what's best for Axel. Now less affected by combo blowback scaling. Now launch opponent higher with decreased horizontal blowback distance. Seems good on paper, not really sure. Not really sure. Expanded upper hitbox, which is a buff. Maybe the move is bigger. They changed the Axel Bomber from DP input to quarter circle input. So like the biking was also changed, but I think it's super good. Makes it more consistent, makes it more easier, stuff like that. And now launch the opponent less than previously when used multiple times in the same combo. So I think this is a nerf to Axel Bomber loops. Yeah, now launch the opponent less than previously when used multiple times in the same combo, which seems like a nerf to Axel Bomber loops. And Sickle Storm, when blocked midair, the opponent now lands more quickly than before. Move the hitbox of the projectile lower. So which means Sickle Storm may be easier to punish, but the optimal punish for Sickle Storm is that you jump, you block the first hit, then you jump after the first hit, and by the time the second hit goes down, you land and you punish. So landing more quickly after blocking a midair hit of that move, I don't know if that's exactly good for the opponent. I don't know if that helps out Axel more, but move the hitbox to the projectile lower. That's gonna be weird. Like when the patch comes out, that's definitely something I want to try for him, because I'm not sure if that low-key helps the opponent if they land more quickly because of a midair block when the optimal strat is jumping the super, and like how you will punish it regularly. I'm not entirely sure if that's like low-key. That I don't know if that's really all that good fighting against him, but I want to check that out June 10th. For Chip, a character I don't know a little bit more about. Based on his options, they buffed Shinsu, which is his overhead kick from his option, his mix-up option, which like they said right here, the mix-up tool. Alpha Blade diagonal, it can be followed up when it hits, so he gets more combo opportunities off of Alpha Blade. Gamma Blade, they buffed Gamma Blade. I don't know why they buffed this move, but they buffed it. In addition to becoming more rewarding due to his increase in options, it is now more difficult to counter. I have no idea why they buffed Gamma Blade. Like, I actually have no clue why they buffed this move. But Costume K, reduce knockback, which is good. Reduce recovery, which is good for close standing S. Reduce the hurt box during an attack startup, which is a buff, harder to hit. Jump neutral, jump P, jump K changes. The Alpha Blade diagonal. Alpha Blade diagonal. Now his opponent no longer gets the opponent more than set distance apart. When to check that out when the patch drop. But this seems like a nerf for Alpha Blade diagonal. Alpha Blade horizontal. Alpha Blade horizontal. No longer hits opponents such as collision detection now activates sooner. That's interesting. I didn't notice that. Aerial Alpha Blade horizontal. Area Alpha Blade horizontal. Okay. Area Alpha Blade diagonal. So when he goes from there, he goes from there. Chip now lands a greater distance forward than before. Okay. Decreased recovery, which is a buff. No longer hits the opponent when more than sight distance apart. Could be a buff or a nerf. We have to wait and see. Now depletes more risk level. Depends. That could be good for him or the opponent. We gotta wait and see. Increase the combo blowback scaling. Okay. Now causes more wall break value gain. When I saw this, right? So what a lot of chips like to do, they like to use Alpha Blade in the corner because it sets up like that really messed up wall slump Oki he has, where he can like do the wall slump Oki run, because Chip is the only character that can run up the wall in the game because he's a ninja. So like he can run up the wall, he can loop the Oki from like an overhead to a low. It's some really cool. It's really cool. I think it's really cool. I think Chip can have it. I don't think it's a problem that he has it. I think it's actually really cool, but he gets like really good wall slump Oki off of it. But when I saw it causes more wall break value gain off of area Alpha Blade diagonal, I was like, that may like hurt his Oki. That means because if he does Alpha Blade diagonal, what chips do a lot, even though like it combos better, it means it'll break the wall faster. So I mean he'll have to control his combos more, but he may have to do less hits. Or he might have to like sacrifice his corner Oki, which is really good Oki for him. So like, but it seems like a buff and a nerf to me at the same time. But I don't play the character, but that's what it seems like to me. Now launches the opponent higher on grounded hit. Okay, pretty cool. I think that's to make the combo work better. Beta Blade. I'm pretty sure this is the universal. Yep, universal DP nerfs, increase the startup. Yeah, stuff like that. Gamma Blade. Don't understand why they buffed this move, but okay. Increase the attack level. Now launch the opponent higher on grounded hit. Now launch the opponent lower. Decrease horizontal blowback distance. Okay. Now depletes more risk level. Increase combo blowback scaling. Now causes more wall break value gain. Break the wall easier if you get hit. You probably could just choose to get hit by Gamma Blade now. But like I don't feel like holding this and get hit so he can break the wall. Now launches opponent less than previously when used multiple times in the same combo. Okay. Increase tumble duration, which I believe that gives him more pressure in Oki, which is cool. Shinso. Reduce attack startup. This is his overhead from his mix. This is his overhead variation. It reduced the attack startup, which is really good, means it comes out faster. Reduce recovery, which is really good, means it recovers faster. So those two buffs. Increase movement speed, which is a buff, means fast. He's already a fast character. Buff. Could be a nerf depending on like how the move works now because of the movement speed, but it looks like a buff. Now it creates less distance when the opponent is hit in the corner, which could be good for him, which means that he's closer so he can do more things. So seems like a buff. The opponent can now recover after landing, which is no longer hard knockdown, which means it's soft knockdown. I guess that's what the less distance compensates for. That means now it's soft knockdown, not hard knockdown. I did not notice that the first time I read this. Okay. Now depletes less risk level. This comes to starter. Now goes over by game. Break the wall less. Distance. Change input. Oh, this is super. They changed the P instead of K. Okay. It seems like the input variation buff. Potemkin got some stuff. Potemkin got some changes. Go already. Impic got changed. Gigantica got changed. Along with some of his moves, some of his normals attack, right? His normals got like really, I don't know about really buff, but his normals got buffs, standing K, crouching K, stuff like that. You see it right there. Reduce front of hurt box, reduce front of hurt box, reduce front of hurt box, stuff like that. Reduce the distance, stuff like that. The opponent can no longer recover after landing on counter hit, which is pretty cool. Reduce the time duration on counter hit, so that's the, you see all these right here are just buffs. Standard PK buffs, jump K buffs right there. Potemkin Buster reduced the frontal hurt box, which is like good for him, but like I never noticed the difference because like you're either going to get grabbed or you're going to hit him. So yeah, Mega Fist forward and back got reduced damage. Thank goodness. Hammerfall, I'm very scared for this change. This is the scariest change I saw when I was looking at Potemkin changes. The opponent can no longer recover after landing on counter hit, which I'm pretty sure that means after the opponent can no longer recover after landing on counter hit, which I mean like I'm pretty sure it already gave like hard down, but like it gives like certified hard down. Like that the hard down that is going to give is like crazy because that means like he can just run at you and like he gets like certified like what am I going to do to you if he lands counter hit on that. Like it's very scary. Increase the maximum forward movement time possible. Not sure what that means exactly. FDB, I'm pretty sure that's flick. Reduce base damage scaling. I think that's a buff for him. Think never please the first level. Reduce combo blow by scaling. No causes less wall break value gain. So that means that the wall won't break as easy. So that means he can do more stuff in the corner now without have to worry about giving up his position in the corner, which is a buff. Depending on how you play Potemkin, right? It's a buff. It's a buff. Garuda impact, decrease the damage. Reduce wall bounce effect. Added tumble effect. Yeah. Or just leave it at that. Gigantic Kai, that's when he does like his chest, but and that blue R comes out. Really weird move. I don't like that move at all because I'm just like every time he does it, I'm like, bro, the cap ensues. You know, I just don't like that move that much. So, but it's not invulnerable no more, so that seems cool. But if the first hit can still hit like it's invulnerable, then what's the point? But it says not invincibility anymore, so that seems like a good thing. Increase the duration of tension penalty, so that means he can't gain meter as fast when he does it. Okay, that's a nerf. Reduce attack, startup, and recovery. Buffs means he can do the move faster, and if he recovers faster, buff. Expanded the hitbox of the first strike, which is good. That means it hits larger now. Buff. No longer gains tension when the strike hit lands. Okay, that's a nerf. That's nerf to his meter gain. No longer triggers wall break when the strike hit lands. That's a buff to him, right? That means he gets better corner stuff. He can choose corner stuff, right? That's a buff to him. Yeah, I think that's a buff. That's a straight up buff. That's a buff. The projectile now decelerates when close to the corner. The speed now. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now I'm really looking at these notes. Like I'm looking at these notes. Like okay, all right. Let me get this out the way. I don't want Faust to be a top tier character in the slightest. Keep him mid to good at best. I don't want plus R Faust again. It's not fun. Like in fighting games, there's top tiers. You have annoying top tiers and you have like fun top tiers. Fun top tiers are like they're top tiers, so they have like that annoyance to the top tier stereotype, but like they're cool. It's like they're top tiers, but it's like they're cool, right? False is a very annoying, not fun top tier character. Like people like buff False, ha ha ha, meme, lol, lol, buff False, No. You do not want a top tier False. Top tier False is actually very unfun. Like it makes the game extremely unfun. So it's like anyway, False got a good amount of buffs, right? You know, it's good for him. I think characters growing in power and characters being more stable is always a good thing. Always make characters more viable, always make characters more stable. But some characters don't need to be top tier. And he's one of them. Doesn't need to be a top tier character. The goal is for characters to be tuned, not overtuned. Tuned, not overtuned. Okay. 6P launches higher, buff. Expanded hitbox. Expanded the lower hitbox for standing K, buff. Crouching K, buff. Hard to hit. Fast, he can act out of it faster. Buff right here, launch dependent on grounded hit, now launch dependent higher, buff. Right here, can no longer recover after landing on counter hit, which I mean, that looks like it's hard down. Buff, 6 stage, add a stagger effect, which means that he gets more chances to act off of hitting you before overhead right there, that 4-screen overhead. Buff, jump P, jump K, universal buff is buffs right there across the board. Jump 2K, increase the damage, buff, jump heavy slash. Reduce the front of her box, means it's hard to hit. Buff, mix. He can now control it. That's when he does the little tornado thing. He goes shoo. That means he can control the inputs, which means he can control the distance better. Blowback duration, match the direction that Faust is facing, which means the opponent probably won't go behind him anymore. It'll probably only go in front of him, so like he can control it better, which is good for him. Final hit during the active frames and now the same properties regardless of the number of hits. I think that seems good. Banana Peel can't hit multiple people. Okay, Afro's potion now has Guard Crush, so if you have if Faust has an Afro on him and then he uses his bomb bag like projectile, which they usually do. So when Faust usually has Afro on him, what the play is, the Faust would like, since Faust has low-key like really good air game, and like their air structure and how they move in the air is like really different, and it's like really hard to like understand, you know. It's like it's just really good air game for him. What they'll do is they'll like usually up back, stall in the air for a little bit, or instantly do it, and they'll throw the bomb bag projectile. And because if you have Afro on Faust, it'll collide with each other and you'll get like a buffed up version of the bomb back projectile if you have Afro. And now it's even better because I'm pretty sure it bounces too. So like if it hits the ground, doesn't hit the opponent, like it bounces to give it like a little bit of extra range. So now it has Guard Crush. So if you get hit with the explosion, you have Guard Crush, which means he's plus, right? That means he's plus. So that's pretty good for him. That's really good buff right there. Makes his RNG better for himself. Meteors add a ground bounce effect. I think that gives him better combos, which is good. Blowback direction, that matches the direction the meteors are falling from. I don't know exactly how that's gonna work. Mini Faust, I hate Mini Faust. I don't like Mini Faust. I think it's a cornball item, and they buffed it. The hitbox now activates directly after coming into contact with the opponent or being attacked, which I think is dumb. I don't like Mini Faust. Cornball item, very cornball item. So like it now activates directly into coming into contact with the opponent, so like, or being attacked. Cornball item. Scarecrow now only charges if the same button is used to activate the attack is held down, which is something that Faust has to be mindful of now. He can't just like do it willy-nilly. He has to be like, so this makes low-key him more committal on what Scarecrow he picks. So yeah. Scarecrow P and K versions now launches upon a higher reduced attack startup buffs, right? Depending on the launch higher buffs. Scarecrow all versus attack animation now begins when the button is released. Don't know what that exactly means. Thrust reduce the frontal hurt box. It's a buff, so it's harder to hit. Love is his false. I said lost. I almost call him lost. Know the memes. Love is love is yeah, bomb bag projectile. Yep. Bomb bag projectile. Yep, that's love. Bomb bag projectile. That's what it's called. Okay. Scary shit, by the way. This cornball shit, like, bro. Some corny changes in here, especially the mini falls. Even though there's like bigger ones that I should be worried about, I just don't like mini falls. So seeing that feels very cornballish to me. How we really get to Milio? Oh my gosh. Bone Crushing assignment, expand the hitbox buff, blowback duration, that matches the direction Faust facing, seems good. Faust is now close to the opponent after cinematic ends. I think he can do more now, so that's a buff. Faust got some pretty good buffs. I think if you're a Faust fan, I don't dislike Faust. I just dislike top tier Faust. This is the difference. I don't dislike Faust. I don't dislike him. I dislike top tier variation Faust. That's the Faust I don't like. Plus or Faust, Exit Faust. I don't like those two Fausts. Extremely cornball gimmicky characters. Extremely cornballish. So I just don't like them. But I don't dislike Faust the character. If Faust is good, that is great. Top tier Faust, I'm not a fan of. But Faust being good and stable, viable, I'm all for it. Just I don't need top tier. I just don't need top tier. Top tier and viable are two different traits. I don't need top tier. I do not need that. But Milia, the true monster, was looking like very scary stuff, right? So Milia got a good amount of changes. They buff Capel, they buff Jump D, they buff far slash, they buff Jump H. inadvertently buff jump H, and they buff H version of tandem top, right? Crouching P, better poke button. Crouching K, reduce the knockback, 2K2D more consistently, reduce the upper hurt box, harder to hit. Close slash, they reduce recovery, change the effect of second hit. Don't know what that means exactly. We're gonna have to check, find out, and see. Fast landing S, better is reduces attack startup, comes off faster. Expanded, the front hitbox would mean it hits further, and the hurt box would mean it's easier to hit. But overall, buff for this move in a nerf, but this move is just better in general, which is pretty cool. They buffed her heavy slash, meaning it's harder to hit by reducing the front of hurt box. Okay. Universal JPJK changes, JS reduced the frontal hurt box. You wasn't hitting that move anyway, she was hitting you, so that's a buff. Jump D, ID across the patches, it seems as though they always like change this move. It really seems as though they want Melia players to use Jump D a lot, and they buffed it again by expanding the hitbox, reducing the hurt box. Narrow launches the opponent on grounded hit, so she gets like more stuff off of it. Like they really want players to like use this, like they really do. Ground throw, increase recovery upon successful throw. You're gonna see why they did this. So what that means is it takes longer for her to act out a throw. You're gonna see why. The final hit now launches higher with decreased blowback distance. If she can combo off a bad moon, or like she just gets better like pressure off a bad moon, that's going to be very scary, because one of Millia's best buttons that people don't even be talking about is a 100% her 2S. The reason why Bad Moon is so scary, and you probably don't realize it, is because she has 2S. And it's crazy. It's crazy. That's like power creep. That's legit power creep. That's power creep. Turbo bar reduce recovery, buff. Tandem top reduce recovery, buff. All versions buff. The S version now has increased knockback. This little part right here, right? Hitbox no longer disappears, but Melia blocks the opponent's attack. So even if you hit Melia when she does tandem top and tandem top is on the screen, usually what happens is if a tandem top is on the screen and Melia is hit, the tandem top disappears. But now it will not disappear. So that changes her Oki a lot. Changes her set play a lot. This is giving me very plus R Melia vibes. To give me a lot of plus R Melia vibes. Iron Savior and decrease the horizontal blowback distance, so you're closer, expanding the frontal hitbox. This move just got buffed all around. Lust Shaker, it was a bug fix. Where the final hit would not cause the blowback, bug fix right there. Capel. Alright, we're gonna have like a little discussion, talk about Capel, right? So change properties from strike to projectile, reduce recovery. Okay, good, that's buff. Now affected by momentum, I believe you can car it now. You can car this move now. That's what I believe that means. You car it. Pretty cool, right? Car it. I believe you can car it. I'm talking too fast. Capel, increase the damage, buff, and increase the expand hitbox, buff, right? And Winger, increase the tech startup, nerf, increase recovery, nerf. That's just like the DP universal DP super change. When block mid-air, the opponent now lands more quickly than before, so it's easier to punish, right? So let's talk about Capel. So to do that, we're gonna need to switch to the video game. Okay, let's talk about Capel. Let's talk about Capel. We're going to use Kai, even though I hate this character. We're going to use Kai. We're going to use Kai. Capel being a projectile changed a lot. So right now, Capel's a strike, right? This is Capel. Melia summons a little rose, right? This is Capel. Melia summons a little rose. This is Capel. Okay, how do I start? Projectiles versus strikes. So since this move is a strike, it's not a projectile. What that means is how strikes interact with projectiles in this game is usually if a strike wants to beat a projectile, what the strike move will have to do is beat the projectile on startup, right? That's usually what that means, right? So if a strike wants to beat a projectile, it needs to hit the projectile upon the projectile startup. That's what a strike move needs to do in order for it to beat a projectile move, right? If that's not the case, then the projectile would just beat the strike. So you cannot interact with the strike. Projectiles beat strikes once the projectile is out. If projectile tries to interact with the strike, depending on how close, you could probably like issue a trade. Depending on the timing or the distance. Probably, right? Right, in these situations. But usually, when the projectile comes out, if the projectile hits the strike while the strike is trying to strike at the projectile, projectile will win. But how projectiles and projectiles interact in this game is that they clash. So this is S tandem top, which is a projectile. So they don't necessarily want, so projectiles can be another projectile depending on like the projectile is. That's why I think Leo has one of the best projectiles in the game, because it's a super high priority projectile and it beats out other projectiles. So but on your average projectile, like if you're not Leo and like Anji's projectile is a 2-hitter, but you can still cancel it out depending on like what the projectile is, right? But how projectiles usually interact in this game, your typical interaction with a projectile is that they clash. So what that means is, with this move now being a projectile, means that if this interacts with a move like this, that means this move will now clash instead of just straight up. So I'm pretty sure if Kai tried to do this, well, this goes over it, so that's like a bad example. But yeah. Let me get closer. What I'm trying to say is, yeah, okay. So how to do this? It's hard to do. Like an example. Oh, maybe Cap was a bad one. Oh, maybe Cap was a bad one. Maybe Cap was a bad one because Cap goes over it. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, if the projectile hit Milia while she's capping, since it's projectile versus strike, Milia has a possibility of getting hit, right? On the capel itself, the capel will like get stuffed. The capel will get stuffed, right? The capel will just get stuffed, right? Maybe I'm not giving this move credit for what it is. Maybe it's good, but like, what I'm trying to show is, that's exactly the situation I was thinking. Is I got a situation out. That's what I was trying to show. So situations like that, familiar, because like there's different ways that people can throw projectiles. Because Kai can do this also, and like characters have different ways to throw projectiles. So since it is a strike capel, the capel can get stuffed. But since the capel is now projectile, that means the capel will now clash. It more than likely will not go. It will just clash. And as you saw already when I was done with Milia, right? Well, now I want to do what I was trying to show in the beginning. Wow, that's irritating, right? Millie will hop. So since that greatly takes away the chances of Capel being stuffed out and Milia going along with the Capel, since it will now clash, since it will now both be projectiles, Kai, right, for example, will be stuck into his recovery of his fireball, right? That doesn't go away. His recovery doesn't go away if the move clash. So like if this clashes, right, the character's recovery just doesn't go away. They still have to recover from the projectile. But with Milia, since Milia will be doing Capel, and it'll probably just clash, right, because of the projectile, she will be leaping forward while Kai's recovering. So what that opens up with Milia being able to projectile other projectiles while using Capel, the stuff that she could probably do off of it is like kind of like, right, kind of like some very interesting stuff. It makes her approach game much more scary because now it's harder for projectiles to interact with it, which is already hard for it in the beginning, to be completely honest, depending on what projectile you have, right? But so now since it clashes, please, right, now since it clashes as a projectile, it's going to have some different uses. So I think that change from strike to projectile is necessarily like really scary for Milia, right? Because now she can take advantage of the fact that her projectile, since she can take advantage of the fact that of Capel being a projectile and that it will clash with other projectiles, right? She can take advantage of that and have the fact that she is leaping forward, right? The fact that she's leaping forward, right? While a character is stuck in recovery from the projectile that they're putting out, and take complete control of that situation and like enforce her win condition. So scary stuff. scary stuff, scary stuff, scary stuff. I think that's a very like crazy low-key change. Not low-key, but a crazy change. Like that's crazy. Zato, we got Zato, Zato and Eddie. Don't know much about Eddie, but Eddie meter depletion when not attacking, 6p, adjusted to character animation, buffed, nerfed, rightfully so. Where we have to see how that goes out. Jump P, jump K, same thing. Universal changes, jump S. First half of the activate, no one put it high. We're doing it seems like a buff. Jump D, it's deceleration, not entirely sure. Pierce, the latest time my Ellie gauge depleted. They had this buff for characters with gauges. They did this buff with Nagaryugi, and they did this buff with Gold Lewis. But it seems as though like you can like kind of wait a little bit more to see like how you're affected with like the meter and stuff, right? That's a lot. When the Eddie gauge is depleted, the damage is decreased, which I think is pretty good. I think this is a good nerf. So this is drills. That's a lot of drills. I think this is a good nerf, especially the scaling. So it just can't do crazy damage. I think it's a good nerf. Good nerf. Leaf got nerfed. Expanded hurt by to increase the damage, which I think is crazy. Because why does Zato have an OS where if you jump his command grab, he can put out leap and just be safe, low key? Don't understand why he has that OS, but he has it. But Leaf got nerfed, so I think that's pretty good. Amorphous, Amorphous, I think that's how you say it. And that's his shark super. He goes like, right, that's his shark super. So that got buffed, reduced the attack startup, and increased the movement speed of the hitbox. So that move got buffed, right? So Zato changes, don't really play the character much, so don't got much to say about the changes, but just initial glances, what I can see, right? Not a Zato player. Ram though, right? Ram's a pretty cool character. A lot of discussion about this character. I personally think she's currently in the current patch right now before the new patch comes out. Best character? My personal opinion, I think Ram's the best character. I think she is the best character in the game. Very, very strong character. A lot of interesting changes, and I like how they worked on her character, right? First off, you can read this little statement here, what they was trying to do with the character, right? Her dash cancel, increased recovery. I think the reason why this is so important, because I think her dash cancel is what's at her core, and what makes her function, what makes her scary stuff scary, is the dash cancel. Even if you don't realize it, I think that's Ram's core. And the fact that they attacked her core and they made it through window a little bit is very big, right? Crouching K, they buffed that. 2K 2D more consistently. Close slash, decrease recovery. I think that goes in tandem with the dash cancel change, but also across the board change. Far as reduce the upper hitbox, so I guess it's easier to jump over, right, like that. Crouching slash, they buffed it, they reduced the startup, and they reduced recovery. Buff that move. That move is already pretty good. Don't know why. Reduce the upper hitbox of standing heavy slash again, so it's a nerf. We'll just have to see how big of a nerf it is when it comes out. JP JK changes, universal. Just a short shoot, Bayonetta. Delay the timing when a projectile appears. Okay. Attack startup remains unchanged. Okay. If Ram takes damage after firing the sword, and before it reaches the corner, the hitbox disappears and the sword will not be placed on the ground. So I guess that's to certify, like, if you hear it, so it's not gonna go off. It decreases the damage on it, which is good, and reduces the hitbox of the explosion, what means it's probably easier to jump, which is really good. Good changes on her sword. It doesn't like just butcher her, but it makes her more fightable, which I think is a really good change. Daro, they always buff Daro. They really want you to use that move as a mid poke. They increase the movement distance. That's very scary because they always buff it, so it's ready to be like half screen. It's gonna be like very scary to see that. I don't know what the second one means, so can't really speak on it that much. Ogresso Ordono is when she's in the air and she does a short spike, like right. Ogresso Ordono. It reduced the deceleration and lowered the height of the ascent. Don't know what that means exactly. Calvados is her beam super, like Marano. Right. I'm pretty sure that's her beam super, right? I'm right. I'm not wrong, am I? Bravado! Bravado! Wait, baby girl. There you go. Hi, Rami. Hello, Ram. Yep. I was right. Correcto. Right? So that's her beam super, decrease the damage of all hits other than the final hit, increase the damage of the final hit. So that goes hand in hand sometimes. So if you get hit later in the move, I guess it just does more damage on the final hit. Weird change. For right there. Morbato. Morobato. So that's her like her where she goes pew, you know the super, she goes boom, the swords up. They increase recovery, make it easier to punish, and will block midair. The opponent lands more quickly, so make it easier to punish too. Just double it down on it, so that move is just more punishable if you block it, which is really good. Leo got some changes. I don't know how to say. I'm sorry. Zay's goes. I don't know how to say that move. I'm so sorry. Leo goes into build hitter stance. So they changed that. They changed his sweep, which is really good. They made it more easy to punish. Although Leo can be open to counter attack, a close range sweep during dash can function as a lunge attack. So now he gets like car sweep, I guess, or like it's already a lunge attack, but he just made it a better lunge attack, which is cool, like I guess. Standing K got nerfed, they increased recovery on it, which is cool. So now he has to like he can't just like hop at you ignorantly. It's like, yo Leo, you gotta watch out. Crouching K, that's cool. 2K 2D buff right there. It makes it more consistent. Since you increase the knockback, you get better normals off it. His close slash reduced recovery buff. Crouching slash buff. Command normal 5. We're changing characters. Change the game screen to Leo Whitefang. Leo Whitefang. I thought so. I thought so. Okay. I thought so. Okay. Can now withstand the opponent's attack until directly before the attack is active? Okay. Sweep expanded, lower hitbox, buff, nerf, buff or nerf? Can car it, pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's a buff. He gets better combos off that. Universe's JPJK changes. Second hit now launch upon a lower, which could be a nerf because it could possibly make them fall off faster. But could be a buff, better combos. Who knows? Gotta wait to see. Decreased frontal hurt box, which makes it harder to hit. So that's a buff for him. Now launches upon a lower, which could be a buff or nerf, depending. It could make opponent fall out easier since it hits lower. But could be a buff or nerf. We just gotta wait to see. Jump D, his little spinny thing, now bounces the opponent higher with decreased horizontal blowback distance. I think that's a combo change, makes it easier to combo, but who knows yet? We don't know yet for sure. This is DP. Ian Strum, that's his DP. Increases attack startup, which is a nerf. Can no longer, that's the universal DP change right there, the gold burst change. Block midair, lands more quickly, makes it easier to punish. Hopefully it truly works. So that's pretty good right there. Good nerfs on the DP right there. DP was insane, but it still seems as though you can still get if you do hit the DP, it seems though you can still get your mix up stuff. Yeah. You just gotta be more careful, gotta be more mindful. Can cross over the opponent in the corner, that's his cross up, which is like very wishy-washy. Honestly, it seems like crazy, but when you really think about it deeply, it's like, is that good for him? It's really wishy-washy. It seems like a quality of life change, but it's like, why would I want to do that? You know, it's really wishy-washy on that change right there. Turbulence is when he smashes the ground and he gets like back stance off of that. It gives soft down instead of hard knockdown, so you can recover faster. So that's a nerf on his part. Pretty good if you're fighting him, but it's a nerf for him. And they buff Stan K on stance change again. Don't know why. Increase the damage and nail trigger slow down effect on counter hit. So I'm pretty sure it's just that it's the PK normals effect thing. So now he has it. Okay. And this is his 214S, the guard break move. When he slams his foot and goes boom, guard break. Reduce the base damage scaling. Okay, depletes less first level, reduce combat because of less wall break value game. Okay, so it breaks the walls less. Nagariyuki got some interesting stuff. I believe they're trying to center him more around his blood gauge. So you see all these normals. his normals basically change depending on what level of blood gauge that you're at. So like it literally matters what blood gauge you're at, because like the only move that it really mattered what blood gauge you were at was like crouching heavy slash. That's about it. Other than that, okay. But now moves legitimately matter depending on what level of blood gauge you're at, and you have to play around that. So it makes it, they're making him more meter dependent, and they're making him more like wary. So like he can't just like go flailing because he know he's going to hit you hard. He actually now has to be like, okay, this normal is going to work here because I'm at this level, but since I'm not at this level yet, I should use this normal instead. So that's pretty cool. I like the crouching heavy slash change they gave, reduce lower hitbox. So hopefully that means I can go under it better, because even Jackal's 2D sometimes struggles. So hopefully that means characters like Jackal's 2K 2D can go under it better and stuff like that. That'd be a really nice change. Maybe Bikin's 2S. Pretty good. I like the sound of it, reduce lower hitbox. So yeah. That's just a nerf to the lower hitbox of his crouching heavy slash, the anti-air where he swipes in the air like that, right? Some cool stuff. Blood Rage, decrease the opponent's real time during guard crush. I believe that means if you block his Blood Rage, you can attack him. You can punish him on block more consistently. I believe that's what that means. Zamariyuki, that's his projectile. I believe one of the dumbest moves in the game by far, and I don't mind Nagoriyuki. Zamariyuki is probably one of the only moves I don't like out of his entire kit. I believe that's what that move is called, Zamariyuki. Let me check. I believe Zamariyuki is the projectile. If it's his clone projectile, then yeah, Zamariyuki is like I don't mind Nago, honestly. I really don't mind Nago. I'm being completely honest. That move I do not like. I do not like that move. I think that move is incredibly stupid. Actually, cornball move. I do not like that move. Kamariyuki is spin. They changed spin, which I think is a change that should have been since the beginning of the game. Basically what they did, they increased recovery, and they I believe it changes the frame data. Yeah, it's less advantageous on block. So hopefully it's -2, -3. Hopefully it's -2, -3. Obviously, it's probably gonna change with the distance, but if the move can be pushed down to -2, -3, amazing. Goodness gracious. But it gets some buffs too. Momentum never means when canceling to other special moves. So like, I believe he can use it as a card point. That's what I believe personally. It could be used as a card point. Caesar Ryuki, this is DP. Some stuff right there. I'm not really sure what all that means. Fukio, that's his dash. Delay the time when the blood gains begins to increase. I believe that delay the time when the blood gain begins to increase changes. It's like he can like use more last resort tactics. So he's like, well, if I use this move, I'll pop, but I won't pop for like another 2 seconds. So I can make something happen, and I can like really, like it changes his RPS game a lot. I believe that changes Nagoriyuki RPS game a lot with that blood rage channeling at different times. Changes a lot. That's a super Wazaryuki right there. So before we get real quick before I leave off of it, the latter half can now be canceled to some special moves. That seems scary. We just have to wait and see what happens when it comes out. But yeah. Wazaryuki, this is his DP super, his invulnerable super, and it makes it easier to hit. Universal super change. Now bounce upon a higher when initial hit connects without triggering the follow-up cinematic. I guess that makes it easier to combo. Easier to do things off of it. Increased recovery time when the follow-up cinematic is not triggered. I think increased recovery time when the follow-up cinematic is not triggered. I believe that's good for the opponent. Not entirely sure. June 10th, gotta wait and see what that about. We got when it happens. Gotta wait and see what that means. Giovanna got some crazy stuff. This is the craziest thing to me. When me and my friends were talking about it, they call her like Mini Nago, because why can she control her dash like this now with no meter at all? When she's over 50% meter tension, it gives her normal move and command normal strip damage, which is pretty cool because Giovanna always have had a buff if she has 50 to 100 meter. It's just not very noticeable because you're either spinning the meter or it's not that much, which she gets damage reduction. So she has as much guts as Potemkin when she gets to like 100 meter, and so like in 50 meters she gets like halfway there. So like she does have like a defense buff. The more meter 50% and above she has, she gets a defense buff, but it's not very noticeable, right? Because you're using meter a lot with Giovanna, especially because she has a lot of good meter uses. So they're giving you a very direct way to see of her having a buff when she has 50 tension, which is pretty cool, right? So yeah, these two changes are nutty. Some buffs across here. Her sweep got nerfed. Thank goodness, best sweep in the game. It definitely needed to get nerfed a little bit, but it didn't change the range. It just increased the recovery, so the range is still there, but it should be easier to punish if she whiffs it. Yeah, JPJK changes universal. Jump S reduce the upper hurt box, which is pretty good, right? Makes it easier to make it harder to hit. Now once the opponent lower, it could make opponents fall out, or it could be good. We'll just have to wait and see what happens right there. Jump D decrease the damage, which is pretty cool. Okay, decrease some damage. The second hit now launch the opponent higher, which I believe will make the opponent easier to combo into. Ground throw reduce throw range, which is scary because that means that she'll be closer to you. And so since she's closer to you, that means she can do more stuff to you, and her strike throw is already crazy, right? So Potra is her 214K. It's her when she kicks with the dog. It's not spiral arrow, it's the other one. It would reduce the damage, which I think is good. Reduce the lower hitbox and hurt box. So it reduced the hitbox, which means which is a nerf, but it reduced the hitbox also, which is a buff, which means it's harder to hit. At the lower side, right? Charavo, this is the spiral arrow right here. Expanded the maximum distance with opponent from which it can connect. Don't understand what that means. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Increase the active frames, which is pretty good, but increase the active frames, which is pretty good, and reduce the recovery, which is pretty good. So in the Sente, this is her flip kick. Reduce the lower hitbox and extend the upper. Reduce the lower hitbox. That's really not. No. This isn't flip kick. This is bootleg DP. This is bootleg DP. This isn't flip kick. This is bootleg DP. This is bootleg DP. Reduce the lower hitbox. Extend the upper hitbox. So it hits better in the air, right? This is flip kick. This is flip kick. Expanded lower hitbox and hitbox, yeah. Because now like you can change the direction and like you have more freedom over this move, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. You have more freedom. Yeah. So you can change it depending on the input you put. It doesn't do hard knockdown anymore. It does soft down. Now it bumps the opponent higher, which is crazy because that means you can get better combos. Yeah. Increase recovery, which is a nerf. Increase the attack level on second hit, which is pretty big. And reduce attack startup on second hit, which is pretty good. Pretty big, means it comes out faster. And affected momentum, I believe you can card it now. And her reversal super, or her spin kick super, when she goes twirling her legs, that super increases attack startup. So it's little nerf. That's a nerf right there. Nerf right there. Fujin, my boy Anji, right? They even acknowledge it. Fujin is the crux of his offense, right? So they increase the recovery on Fujin, making it harder to punish on block. So I don't know if that means you can't DP his Fujin follow-ups anymore, because characters could just straight up DP his Fujin follow-ups. So I don't know if that means you can't DP anymore. If that means you can't DP anymore, then that's a huge buff for him. He goes up a lot. He gets a lot more firepower from that. But his 2K got buffed for they buffed his poke normals, his far slash and his crouching slash, which is all for that, right? That's pretty good. His standing H now force crouching on counter hit, which I believe gives him better combos, so that's pretty good for him. JPJK buffs across the universal buffs. His jump S launched upon a higher, which is good because jump S is like that's like your end of your combo. You're done. Jump D, this is okay, a wild buff. Even though I mean I see like it's okay, a wild buff. Expanded the frontal hitbox and reduced the hurt box. It's a wild buff. Low key a wild buff. I think that's some power creep right there. That's low key a wild buff. Shitsu, and it works better in the corner. Fujin, they reduce recovery of it, which is pretty good. That makes it more scary, more reliable. Increase attack level, no longer launches opponent on grounded hit when it's charged. I think that's good because on the previous Fujin, what you could do was you would have to do hop if you fully charged it. In you have to do hop if you fully charged it, got a hit. I'm pretty sure I can just show it, right? Those getting parsed. I'm talking a lot. All right. Yeah. So like if you wasn't like near the corner or something like that, really hard. So like you would have to do hop, because if you did Fujin, and you try to do like a follow up and you wasn't like in the corner. Yeah, like you're just lit. Like it'd be really wonky. But you can get this, right? Right, you can get that. I messed it up bad. But you can get stuff like that. But like since it doesn't launch anymore, I'm guessing since this move gets buffed, right? You get like more combo rush off that. So like it makes Fujin really scary because like Anji is like Fujin guy. And then he has this and they nerfed this. But I think it's a rifle nerf. If this is buffed correctly, if Fujin is buffed correctly, then this nerf is okay. If Fujin is buffed correctly, right? And of course, Pretty Little Butterfly, why I love this character to death, it's because of this move right here. I love this character because of that move. But yeah. So like you have to do stuff like that. You will always have to do this if you want to combo off of it because you know it was just very finicky. So I think this is a really good buff. It gives him more stability, and I think that's what Anji needs. He needs stability. I believe Anji's is a strong character. I believe Anji's a strong character. He just needs some stability, right? He just needs some stability, and it gives him stability, which I think is really good. And he buffed the damage on this move. Right? Pretty good stuff right there. Hold on, there we go. Right. Put this right here. Okay. So boom. Force Fujin, increase attack level. Oh, they increase attack level too? What? You're a tweaking Mr. Video Game. Bro. But now it's on grounded. Like you're going to stay grounded. So he's going to do this and you're just going to be grounded. Hold that. Like this needs to be like usually like if you get this counter hit, yeah. Cause this was my go-to in the corner. Saucy. It's actually just saucy. He's so cool. Anji is so cool, bro. Right? Yeah. Sick. It's like just sick. Okay. Increase attack level with this move. This is when he jumps in the air and he throws the fountain down at you. Pretty good move. Nagia increase the startup. I'm pretty sure they increase the startup because Rin is reduced startup. So if Rin is the speed of old Nagia, that would be a little insane. Reduce attack startup buff, reduce recovery buff, never repeat first level less, decrease the combo blowback scaling where Ren is a starter. Now causes less wall break value gain, so that means that the wall break, he gets more combos in the corner without having to break the wall, so he can like choose. That's really good. So you can structure and you can choose more, which is really good. That means it gives him more options, which more options are always good, so he can rate his offense more and be more scary. Always a good thing. Now bounces the opponent lower, decrease blowback distance, decrease the damage on the second hit, and the opponent can never recover after landing. So it's not hard knockdown anymore. It's soft down on Ko, and yeah. But I think if Rin, if Fujin is just good enough of a buff, then I believe that hold on, coming.
To be asked, where have I been? I'm a sharpshooter at post masquerade, hiding both face and mind, all free for you to draw. I'm a sharpshooter. What else should I be? Please don't take off my mask, revealing dark. moments of calm, nothing left to be found. A mirror right in front of me.
you saw that, mind your business, lol. But anyway, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm back. I had to handle something, and then I was like, I'm getting really hungry, so I was like, hey, why don't I just make me some cup noodles? So maybe some cup noodles. But I'm back. We're gonna finish these patch rooms up. How's that sound? Sound fun? Fun to me. Sound fun to me. Fun to me. Mix these up a little bit. Stick that in. Let that cook up for real. All right. So yeah, we got through Anji and increase the damage of his fan super, which is pretty good. Good quality of life change. Hopefully it's like significant damage, so it's like, you know, for real. You know what I'm saying? Super scared if this character gets super strong because I cannot block to save my life. But I'm low-key mad that I see them buffing chemical love, and I was like, yo, this is the only patch, the buff that I wanted at all with this character, and they did it. But I'm a Jack on me, so you know that's how life come at you. But specializes at closing in from mid range to yada, push them to yada, and suppression scale. And suppression scale is her note projectile. They buffed her air dash. She can have more control over it. They buffed some of her moves right here. Her smaller moves, her P&K moves. Her close attack has less recovery, crouching slash reduced attack startup, and expanded frontal hitbox and hurtbox was a buff in the nerf. But this move having faster startup is scary because this move is godlike. If you play or play against you know that her crouching S is a godlike button. Universal JK changes, the universal ones. The ethnic breast scale, which is her note projectile. So what they did, they made it easier. They do this every patch to make it easier for you to alter, which is always a good thing, I guess. And now her RC antidepressant scale, like mix-ups and stuff are like more legit because now it appears even when a woman cancel at an earlier point than before. So I'm guessing you can cancel it earlier. So like just gives her more mix options, which is really always good for her because even though she has mix, she's more of a scramble queen than like straight up mix. So her having more mix is always a good thing, right? Especially if you play, antidepressant scale, aerial antidepressant scale. They increase the movement speed of projectile so it goes faster, but they increase recovery. So I'm pretty sure if you're able to like run under it or like get to her, you can like hit her better because that's a nerf to her, increasing recovery, so she has to recover more. Chemical love increase the active frames. I don't see them saying anything about them increasing the upward hitbox or the lower hitbox or anything like that. But increasing the active frame makes it stay longer. But I think the biggest change needs to be the upward hitbox and downward hitbox. But active frame we will see like when it comes out. But it's a buff, so that's good. Increased recovery of heavy version of stroke. I don't know if that on block or like on whiff. But on block, I believe it's like -2. So if they change like -4 or something like that, that's crazy. That's actually insane. But if it's on whiff, then that means like she can't just do it in neutral. You gotta watch out for them, or you can check them. Increase the stagger duration, so on hit, that's really good. So that's a buff. So you get hit by that, then yeah, she got you. And increase the knockback on hit, so she can like get easier hits and stuff like that. She's closer to you, so if she prefers to do something at that range, she just gets it. So I'm pretty sure that's a buff. Sochi performance, just step out projectile hit changes. Ultimate Fortissimo, which is her DP super, increase the startup of the attack so it takes longer to come out, so that's a nerf. And aerial ultimate Fortissimo, can no longer land as the move comes out, so I'm guessing that's like a bugfish / nerf, but it seems like a nerf, so she can't just immediately like fall to the ground after it, so that seems like a bugfish / nerf. So yeah. Alright, now to Gold Lewis. I don't play a lot of Gold Lewis, so I'll probably just run through the change real quick, but they buffed his far slash, really good. They buffed his 6P, which is really good. They bumped his jump D, which is really good. Universal JP JK changes. And they buffed all his jump normals. He can Kara more moves now. His Thunderbird is pretty good, which is his bomb projectile. It changes on security level now, the recovery and stuff like that. I believe if it hits the opponent, depending on the security level that it hits the opponent, it does different effects. So he got I almost said happy Lewis. Gold Lewis got some really good changes. Like he got some really good changes, some good quality of life changes. His meter means more. They did a lot with the meter characters in this game. Their meter means more, so their resource is like much more important because their meter means a lot more to them, especially like with delaying like the time the moves reset. And they buffed his laser super by reducing the recovery and increasing the attack level, and stuff like that. So yeah, he got some pretty good buffs. Here. Gold Lewis looking pretty good. He got some pretty good buffs. Now to Miss Jacko. Jacko got some changes. Everybody got changes obviously, but Jacko definitely got some changes. This is probably so hot, like heat hot, not like spice hot. Oh. Oh, it's so good though. Excuse me, that's so good. That main stuff came through her servant, how her servants work. What I'm excited about, is that they buff homegirl normals. They buffed her. Let's go. So they increase the servant gauge around start, so that means she probably gets more servant gauge. If you don't know, Jackal starts the round with 1. Jackal has 3 bars of servant gauge. She starts the round off with in the current patch, not the patch that comes out June 10th. And the patch that is now, she starts the round with 1 bar of servant gauge. I don't know if that means she's going to start with like 1.5, 2, or 3. Not told, but she will have increased gauge at the round start. Her crouching P has reduced startup, so that means it's faster. That's a buff. Her standing K has reduced recovery. That means it recovers faster. That means that's a buff. Crouching K has reduced attack startup, which is a buff. Reduced recovery, which is a buff. And decreased knockback, which means 2K 2D is probably going to confirm easier, or just 2K into other moves probably just confirm easier, which is a really good buff. That's a really good move. Her close slash got a reduced recovery. Her crouching heavy slash has decreased horizontal blowback distance, which is pretty good. I'm pretty sure that's a buff. Her sweep has reduced attack startup. That means it comes off faster. JP, JK changes. The universal changes. Her jump has expanded the lower hitbox and hurtbox of the initial hit, which is a buff and a nerf at the same time. Her jump D, which is nutty, right? That's a nutty change. Can now be jump cancel and air dash cancel. So we're gonna have to see what that means. I'm more special looking into the air dash cancel, but I think the jump cancel is going to be the main thing. And now it can be canceled to a special move. So her only aerial special move is shoot. Is aerial shoot. I'm pretty sure. Jackal's only aerial special move is shoot, servant shoot. So it's not like she can really do anything else like crazy off of that anyway. But it would only be servant shoot. Hold on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can recover in the air, you can attack in the air. Oh, it's servant shoot. So can you do this? Hold up. So you probably can do this now, right? So you can do this and do command right after? Cause I'm pretty sure you can do this too, right? And you can do like cancel it into like servant shoot, right? This being air dash cancel is crazy. That means she get bro. So what do you mean by jump? Whoa! She couldn't do this already? I didn't realize that. What? Oops. What? That's crazy. Okay, that's nutty. Yeah, I knew it. I was like, bro, jump D change is gonna be the nuttiest change. Yeah, that's great. She got crazy options off of jump D. Her throw servants have reduced recovery. The main thing is now her servants have a more clash priority. So how they clash with projectiles is gonna be way different. And they said it's gonna be better. So I think she's gonna be able to maybe like match other projectiles, or straight up like to play like a RPS game with projectiles. So now she's gonna have her own little shapeshift projectiles. Her little makeshift projectiles do like servants, which is pretty cool. Which allows her to do like more special neutral, more neutral due to her liking, which gives her more options and lets her flow better, which is really good. I'm a big fan of these Jackal changes. I think they look really good. Obviously, when the patch come up, we're gonna hop in and see what it's about. But jump D is nutty. The servers clashing more with projectiles is crazy. The attack command now deals damage. I think it always did, but except when lifting. I don't know if that means when you lift the server, it now it's a hitbox, but if that does, that's insane. But super good change across the board. A fair release on driver could be a nerf to me, because like since it recovers the servers immediately, that means that since it recovers the servers immediately, that means that if you don't like break the wall, like the servers are just gonna go away. Like you can set up stuff off servers because of that, right? So like yeah, that could be a nerf. But Yeah, but like everything else looks good. Especially like with servant shoot, they increased the active frames and they reduced the recovery, but they didn't change the frame advantage, and they increased the clash level for the servant. In the area version, they changed it 2 to reduce the deceleration. I'm not sure exactly what that means, and they spend the hitbox, and the hitbox was the buff for the nerf. But I'm super excited with these changes for Jacko. Like super excited. She just has a bunch. It gives her more options. She can do more. She can do so much more. And like clash level with servants, it's like it just makes her presence so much more scary. Like I'm super excited, super excited. I happy chaos. I'm happy because I got some stuff. Got some better neutral buttons got better. Concentration now. He doesn't. He has to work more on concentration. He got nerfed. He got nerfed overall, but he's definitely still good. A lot of good changes. A lot of steady changes, stuff like that. Buff normals, like I said. Concentration means more. His roll got better since he can like shoot sooner out of it and stuff like that. He's definitely more resource management wise, and he definitely has to like look more, has to think more. You can't just spam shots. You have to play neutral. So like you have to put both his best suits together, which I think is why he's still good, because his neutral and his concentration, his fire stuff is super good. But now you have to put it together to play him well, which is like which I think is why he's still good. But he got some nerfs here, but he's definitely still solid. Definitely a good character right here. Biking got some really cool stuff, right? So first, she can carve her 6K. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Her far slash got buffed. Really good. Her crouching size got buffed. Love this move. Favorite biker normal got buffed. Her crouching size seems like a slight nerf, but you know, you can take what you can get. We want to see when it comes out. Universal JP, JK changes. Tamagashi got buffed. They changed the way you input it, so I think we'll have to see what that means when it comes out, because I'm not entirely sure yet. Area with the Tamagashi got buffed. It's on with regular Tamagashi. The follow-up for Kabari, H version of Kabari, got buffed. Now triggers a counter hit effect, which is super good. The blowback is in the direction biking is facing, which is a very, very nice quality of life buff. That means that it won't be going behind her, and she can do more now. She can like get more consistent off that, right? Because one thing about biking was that one thing about biking was her conversion ability. So like that kind of helps it a little bit. So that's really good. That's really good. But it increased recovery on block. And she was already negative, so she may be punishable. So I think that's where the RPS game comes in. It was Onston, got buffed. They reduced the landing recovery and increased the damage, which was good. Haragi got buffed. When I was like, whoa. So they reduced the recovery after successful parry, so she can move faster after she parries you. She can move sooner. And when it's not successful, when she whiffs it, it recovers faster still. So I was like, nice buff. Her super got nerfed. You land quickly if you air block it, and then increase the startup, and then decrease the knockback. I think decreased knockback is like, depending on how you look at it, could be a buff or nerf. Not entirely sure yet. But yeah, biking got some good shit. It just makes her more stable. So it made her stuff. It made the stuff where she was like flip wishy-washy and it will flip flop. It just ironed it out. It ironed it out. So like she still has all the good stuff she has, but now her kit is more solid. So it's like now she's just more concrete. She's more concrete. She's not paper anymore. She's just much more concrete, which is super good. Biking got good buffs. She got some nerfs. Biking got really good buffed. Biking looking really good this patch. Testament, extremely terrifying what they did to this character. Extremely terrifying. Testament got a lot of stuff. One thing I want to talk about the most is definitely Unholy Diver, because now their succubus stays on the screen longer, and they expanded the hitbox of the succubus transformation, so like it could be harder to jump, which is already scary because staying state is one of the scariest things in Guilty Gear Strive. So like possession, they changed the inputs for possession. Arbiter Sign has reduced recovery. Grave Reef got buffed, expanded the frontal hitbox and hitbox of the strike, so it's a buff in there, but it overall got buffed. It launched upon a high on hits and stuff like that. The lower hitbox of the projectile, expanded the lower hitbox of the projectile as soon as the projectile comes out. For a heavy size version, which we don't know, heavy size version is the version where they shoot upwards. They shoot the projectile upwards, which is really cool. So what that means is, it'll hit the lower top more. So like the crescent shape it has when it shoots up is much more valuable, which is really good. They buffed the air versions of it too. All versions that expanded the hitbox, the back hitbox of the projectile. I don't know what that means, but expanded hitbox seems like a buff. I don't know exactly what that means. Grey Reaper reduced the startup attack for all heavy size versions of the move, which is nutty. Universal JP changes. Jump S, reduce hitbox. Don't understand why, because that move is already hard to hit, so it just got better, which is really good. Succubus staying on screen longer is crazy. Buffing 5K is crazy. Far slash, crouching slash, 6S, standing heavy slash, crouching K, all of it buffed. Testament always had like a air dash. Testament always had like an air dash thing where like their air dash was like slower than the other characters' air dash. I don't understand why that was like a thing, but like it was always like that. But I guess they're changing it. I don't know if it's gonna be the same as everybody else in the cache. I guess they said to match the other characters, but we'll just see when it comes out if it's like a direct match or it's like, you know, it's just a little bit different than other characters. Not entirely sure. A bug where their hurt box would disappear when they landed. Don't know how that happened. And a bug where the crow would sometimes not behave as intended after a wall-based sequence. So they fixed that bug. So got some bug fixes in there. Buffs. So yeah, Testament is looking extremely scary. Am I going to pick Testament up as my secondary again instead of Viking? Who knows? But you know, right now, Jacko has my heart. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Jacko. She has my heart. I'm super excited. Let me eat this real quick. I'm sorry. Jacko has my heart, and I'm super excited. So yeah. I'm excited for the patch notes. I think the patch notes look good. I'm excited for June 10th. I think on paper the patch looks really good. Obviously, we're not going to know until we boot the game up when the patch drops and we see what it means, what the system changes mean, what the character changes mean. We're not going to know until we boot it up. But on paper, looks good. It looks good on paper. It looks like a good patch. I'm super excited to try the game out, try some characters out, see what all this is about. And yeah, that's what I wanted to do today. I just want to come through, check out the patch notes, and talk a little bit about it, and just get my thoughts on it and see what I think. I don't really have like a winner or losers list because I just don't think I'm that reversed into how all the characters work to know about how all that is. But I think Milia's looking crazy. I'm super excited for Jacko like always, and I want to see what Viking is about. So yeah, patch looks cool. So other than that, I think yeah, I got what I said. I got what I wanted off, so I'm gonna head out. Yeah, I'm definitely playing some more. Can't wait to see how when the patch drops. And you guys are just coming through, chatting and talking, and just watching and just hanging out. So until I see you all again, hope you all have a great day, and see you.